All right, Tone. We're moving on from Spider-Man 2.
We are.
We're moving on to horror movies because it's Halloween.
We are.
We're leading up to
I
Halloween.
have been watching more horror movies
Yeah?
this year
Yeah?
than I have in many years. I've been really making a conscious effort to watch some fucking horror movies.
We talk about video games. 2023 strong year for horror films.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some strong years, but we had to do kind of like a rewind because these next couple movies have been out for a while now,
And somebody won't leave us alone.
and Dungeons is a bully, and he's like, you guys fucking suck if you don't watch these movies. And finally, I rewatched Terrifier. I hadn't seen that since it came out in like 2016. I think I've seen it one time. And a lot of it, yes, you did disappoint. I'm not going to give you the credit, I'm not going to give you any credit. No, I'm just joking. These movies are fucking wild. I mean, that's the only way to put it.
That's really the only way to start out
Terrifier
that.
came out in 2016. It's kind of a small budget, but effective.
$35,000 budget.
$35,000 budget.
One.
A very low budget but highly effective sadistic horror film
Practical effects.
with nothing but practical effects. No CGI. What you see is really happening with people around, and how some of these actors or producers or directors weren't throwing up
Jesus.
is beyond me. Seriously, man, there had to have at least been one person on set going, Jesus fucking Christ, dude, really?
This is what we're filming today?
This is what we're making. My name is going to be in the credits on this shit?
And I tell you, like I was telling you,
Effective.
I eat dinner while watching this shit.
He's eating spaghetti and burritos. Just
I don't
like,
even fucking care. Oh, that's some intestines. Nom, nom,
So
nom.
the Terrifier series revolves around our buddy here, Art the Clown. People did throw up and leave the theater on the
That's
cycle.
right.
I believe it.
That's right. I forgot that.
I sit there and remember reading those stories about, when The Exorcist came out, people were fainting and throwing up in the theater.
What would they do now?
The Exorcist is so tame and mild compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
These movies are fucked up. They are sadistic. Art the Clown is a fucking psychopath maniac. I mean, he sets the new standard.
He doesn't appreciate you saying that. Look,
He doesn't like that at all.
Looking right at you.
What are you, bro?
What are you saying?
No, it's but here's the thing, man. Like, look, this is essentially a slasher, but with a lot of fucking gore. A lot of gore.
Yeah.
It's sadistic. It's unnerving. It's unsettling. I wouldn't say that these movies are scary. They're not scary. They're just fucking uncomfortable and unsettling. And that's another form of horror. I mean, that is effective horror. If you can have me squeamish going, oh, fuck, man. But I mean, that's not to say he's not scary.
Mm-hmm.
He is scary. There's just not a lot of jump scares, but he is a slasher. And he's a good one at that. So, like, the first one takes place, you meet Art the Clown, who's just kind of like this dude that just shows up. We don't get a whole lot of backstory. We don't get a whole lot of lore. But he just shows up. And he starts stalking these two girls who are just coming home from a party. And all hell breaks loose. And he just wreaks havoc on this, like, derelict apartment building. And many people are killed in very gruesome fashion. But the thing that I love about this movie, the thing that I enjoy about it, because, look, it's easy to make a movie where a guy goes around and kills people. Mm-hmm. It's easy. But you got to have something. And if it's not a super deep, compelling story, you have to have character. You have to have style.
You gotta.
You have to have that it factor. Now, mind you, he's a fucking mime-like character. He doesn't say shit. He doesn't speak at all. Dude, watch Halo goes on rampage. No, like seriously, he doesn't say shit, but it's his mannerisms. He's a mime, and the things that he does. What's his name? David Thornton. Dungeons. What's his full name? David Howard Thornton or Howard Thornton? What the fuck is his name? It's like a 3-letter name or 3-word name.
I can't spell.
I can't remember what it is. David Howard Thornton. There we go. He is very similar to how Robert Englund made Freddy so effective. Mm-hmm. Freddy's terrifying in the nightmares, and when he's killing people, it's very gory. But then when they give Freddy those moments where he does that humor, or they just say, Robert, do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Spice it up a little bit. This guy does that with Art the Clown. He gives him some character where you're just like, oh my God, he is a psycho. They really look, it's a psycho to like saw a chick in half with a fucking saw. But when you add some levity to it by the guy doing it to some degree, and you're just like, yeah, that really drives home the point. Yeah. But it gives him a little bit of depth. Like I said, you can wear a mask and go kill people and you have a movie. But when you have a character where you're just like, wow, it's kind of entertaining. I feel guilty about saying that.
That's one of the things about him that opposed to a lot of the other slashers and stuff. Most of them wear some form of mask or prosthetic, where he's mostly got his facial features able to be seen, so he can convey those kind of things a little bit differently.
Convey a lot of emotion.
Right. Yeah. So, like, again, when it comes to like leaning into the dark humor and the bullshit he does, I mean, at the end of the day, he's a clown mime, so you want some sort of goofiness in that sense, and he does a really good job of it. His facial expressions, his mannerisms, everything about him is it's what makes the movie or those sort of things.
And it's how he brings it, how he compliments. Like, he has these funny facial expressions, but then he still has this menacing grill of just razor teeth, and his eyes are so intense and piercing. So you have this weird balance where, like, yeah, he's being funny, but he's a fucking psycho, and he is creepy as hell.
Yeah.
It's just a weird balance, but he pulls it off perfectly.
He does.
And so, like, that's the thing that I really appreciate. I mean, look, the gore I love. And I am squeamish, man. Like I said, there are times where I'm just like, I'm watching this.
He's a little baby.
I'm watching it, and I'm just like, man, they're really pushing the envelope.
Here's my burrito.
Yeah, he's digging into his food, eating his spaghetti while intestines are falling on the floor.
Is that a chicken wing?
But, like, look, man, the thing I liked about this one also as well, it is 82 minutes.
Yeah, the first
straight to the point.
First one is
killing people, and he does his thing. And I really liked Terrifier 1. I really enjoyed it. Terrifier 2, which came out last year. The first thing I noticed, Tone, and we talked about this before the show, is when I looked, I bought the movie and I saw it and it said 2 hours and like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was really quite surprised by that.
I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. We're pushing 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's a bit much. That's a lot, but we'll see what happens because I'm not doubting it. I mean, look, bigger budget, same people involved. They're gonna extend it, make it more bloody, blah blah blah.
Instantly, the camera, you could tell,
and they do. I mean, oh yeah, high quality production value, looks great. There are a ton of fucking elaborate grisly kills, awesome, but it was just kind of like him playing with his wig. Was like 2 is good. I don't think it's a bad movie.
No,
I don't think it's a bad movie. But it kind of, and Drastin mentioned this in the chat, in our chat earlier, and I agree to the extent that they're trying to add more lore. But sometimes for me, man, and this is just my opinion, when it comes to slashers or horror movies, sometimes less is more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a lot of lore for Art the fucking Clown.
Well,
and the reason, and I'm going to let you go here in a second.
Yeah.
The reason I say that, because look, man, Michael Myers, I'm going to go back to Michael Myers, was a fucking awesome slasher, villain, monster guy in the first Halloween. Simply because you had no idea what his fucking motivation was or why he was doing what he was doing. To me, that is the scariest thing on earth. Mm-hmm. He's doing this. He's picking off people left and right. He's stalking them. We don't know why. That's scary to me. They don't flat out say it, but there seems to be some kind of connection between Art the Clown and the family that he's stalking. And like you and I were talking about before the show, and there was some stuff that we mentioned, and I thought about it for a moment, and then when I was upstairs, I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, some things don't add up. It's kind of hard to make that connection. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, man. The problem with adding lore to a horror film is the same problem that fucking killed off Halloween after Halloween 4. Halloween 4, we got a little bit of this and that about Thorn and whatnot, but then they went to 5 and 6, and they tried to dive into the lore of the Thorn cult that was controlling Michael Myers. I fucking hated that. I don't want to know what is motivating Michael Myers to do what he's doing. And when it's something fucking stupid like the Thorn cult, dude, you have just tarnished a character that was perfect being shallow and not knowing what his motivations were. I
mm-hmm.
don't fucking need a lot of lore for Art the fucking Clown. They established at the end of the first one that there's some kind of supernatural thing going on with him. And he comes back in the second one. Dude, that's fine. I'm cool with just that.
That's pretty much all I need.
How many fucking times was Jason brought back because he got struck by fucking lightning? He got struck by lightning. Cool, that's all I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in for the ride now. I'm here to watch Jason kill a bunch of campers for 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Brought back by lightning. Don't care. I don't want to know what motivates Jason. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a lot of lore. I'm not saying that they go too much into this, but they did it enough where I was just like, dude, I don't fucking really care. Yeah. And then they kind of lost their way at the end of part 2 with the girl and her abilities. You want to give me some fucking lore? Tell me how she survived. Mm-hmm. You want to give me lore? Tell me how she fucking survived that shit. Mm-hmm. You know, she's not Art the Clown. Now, maybe she's a descendant or she has some kind of relation to Art the Clown, remains to be seen. I don't think it needs it, dude. I don't think it needs the lore. I do think 2 hours and 20 minutes, even though it was good all the way through for the most part, and again, you're still getting elaborate kills in that extra 30 minutes. Sometimes I don't even need you to allude to what Art could possibly be. I don't fucking care. He's badass, he's scary, and he kills people in horrific fashion.
Right. Yeah, I think overall the length of it is partly what took me out of it. Like it was there's a lot of unnecessariness to it. And because of them trying to create some connection or some background or some story or some lore, it added to the length of that. So it just made it seem like it was too much. Like I felt like at times like it was just kind of dragging and spinning wheels. Like what made the first one great was that it was kind of fast, high octane. You didn't have to have a whole lot of explanation.
I didn't need it
or anything. You just knew that I got to get away. This guy's nuts. What's he doing? Things in that nature. Whereas this one tried to like bring in some. It was almost like they were trying to. At some point, they want you to feel sorry for. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. All I know is that when you start getting into like mysticism and adding extra things, sometimes your plate gets too full and it just spills over anyways. And that's what I felt like with the length and everything. It was just too much. Like we didn't need so much bullshit of that. Like, yeah, there's a dream sequence.
Yeah, and again, that dream sequence is trying to connect her with Art.
But
I
like,
don't need that.
But even then, like it like while there was some fun stuff about it, the dream sequence would have been fine if it was like 10 minutes and just that song playing over and being like, "Oh, I'm scared of the guy." You know, maybe she saw him on the sidewalk.
Creepy.
Or something.
It was creepy. I'll give him that.
But like, what is he? Is he Freddy Krueger now too? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I that was my thing. Like, it just felt like there was so much they were trying to throw with the kids, the family, and this and that, and like
the little girl though, the little girl demon, that was creepy.
Yeah, and that was fine as well too, but that came out of fucking nowhere with no explanation. And look, I don't need explanations for everything. I made a lot of assumptions because some of the stuff was obvious, but it was all over the place. It was literally just.
They tried to allude to her. They're like, "Oh, remember the two people in the van?" They're like, "Oh, some little girl got killed here last year."
Right.
Or
it just.
I was like, "Okay, that's her."
So what is he? Is he a fucking resurrecting demon? Like we don't know, and I don't need all that level of detail though. And again, I can't keep coming back to the family and trying to create a connection there. Like it felt like it was out of place, and it was taking away from Art's like creepiness and like his what's the word I'm trying to look for, scariness or whatever like that. But it just focusing on all this other shit in that family took away from how I can't think of the goddamn word.
Ultimately stalking these people, I mean, it leads to their demise. So I mean, we get some kind of payoff for it, but it's just like I don't need this constant like.
No,
I don't need this constant like hitting you over the head like, hey, there's some kind of connection here. I don't care.
Yeah, create a little bit of it or whatever, but like make it make sense too as well, because it was how they did it was kind of dumb. I thought like just like that's it like.
I just want Art to be a killer, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking care what his motivations are. I don't care why he's doing what he's doing. He just showed up and just started murdering people in horrific fashion. And you know what? I'm there for it.
Right.
Now, if this third one, look, we do know Terrifier 2 will be dropping in theaters, select theaters again, beginning November 1st. Mm-hmm. And we do know that following those viewings, there will be a Terrifier 3 teaser,
which we'll see by the end of the week.
which somebody will definitely record. But like, so we know Terrifier 3 is coming now. If I find out that Terrifier 3 is like 3.5 hours, we're gonna have issues.
Right.
But I mean, at this point though, like, how much are they gonna lean? Oh no, Dungeons. And I want you to say, I want you to understand, I am a fan.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
on board. In fact, I was talking to him before this. All week long, Cuddles and I and you and I were talking about the one meme. It was like the Mount Rushmore of horror, and I was just like, well, I mean, it's easily right away. It's Jason, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and then the fourth one is up for debate. But there's not a whole lot of options. I mean, maybe Chucky and Leatherface, Ghostface are in the conversation, but there's not a whole lot else.
Pennywise.
After watching Terrifier, yeah. Don't get Cuddles started on Pennywise. And I actually agree with Cuddles. If there's one Pennywise I think could be in the conversation, it's actually Tim Curry's, not Bill Skarsgård's, even though I like Bill Skarsgård's. But after watching Terrifier, I would actually listen to a conversation regarding Art the Clown being amongst the Mount Rushmore. I am a huge fan of this, Dungeons. I'm going to tell you that right now. I just hope that they don't get off or go way off the rails with this fucking trying to find motivation and giving him a purpose or defining why he's doing it. I don't fucking care. I watched Friday the 13th over, 11, 12 movies. I don't fucking care what Jason's motivation is. He got killed at camp and his mom got him crazy. Cool. That's all I need. And he went around and killed people over and over for like 12 straight movies. And so, like, I don't want them to get too much into the supernatural side of things, or that there's some kind of like family issue with the kid, that if that's his family, and if it is in fact his family, or somehow, you and I talked about it, and this could be kind of spoilery, but sorry. At the end of the first Terrifier, Art the Clown kills himself, and he's at the morgue. And there's like this electrical, whatever, like this electrical, what is it? What's that called? Like a shortage or something like that.
Power surge.
And in the morgue, all of a sudden he gets up and he's alive, and you're like, oh, okay, well that's kind of supernatural. That's cool. Which I was all right with. I was like, okay, that's it.
That's all I need.
And so, and the second one
starts right after,
which starts a year after. It's a year after.
Well.
When he comes out of the thing, it's right there, but then it jumps out here because they mentioned the
time jump happens later in 2. 2 starts right after 1.
Right after, yeah. But then I'm saying, like,
and then there's some time jump in the middle there.
Everything transpires a year later.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's like they mention that the family that he's stalking, the daughter and the son and the mom,
Holy
they say
Ghost.
like, oh, dad died driving into an electrical post or a pole or whatever it was, a transformer or something like that. And his car caught fire, and he burned alive, and he died. And I was like, you know what, that's weird, because he hits this transformer, the power goes out, and of course they're at the morgue, and the power, there's that power surge or whatever. It's like, oh, I wonder if I wonder if art is like this vessel that pulls in a human soul, and that's what kind of gives it its energy to perform its tasks or whatever. But then, I thought about that. I was like, oh, that could be it. But wouldn't they have addressed it at some point, going, oh yeah, Art the Clown did this a year ago, the same night Dad died? They never mention that. They just say Dad died. You would think that if they were talking, everyone knows about Art the Clown. You would have thought, like, oh yeah, you would have thought somebody would have said, like, the same night Art the Clown died, that's when Dad died.
I thought Dad went disappearing like 10 years before all this.
I mean,
these events.
I'm just talking about, because you and I were like talking about for a moment. We were just like, oh, the lightning in the place.
Oh yeah,
because he hit the power pole, and we are trying to like make that connection there. But like I said, it's just confusing. And again, I don't want all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want all that. So,
end of the day, Terrifier 2 was too much, too long, and it was trying to pack in too much shit.
Still effective. Still a good movie. And he's awesome in it. It's more of what
great.
You want.
But, I'm still in. I'm still on in art.
I'll be there for 3.
I'll be there for 3, but 2 just needs to kind of.
The drawings are significant, but again, it's unnecessary. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I just want to see Art kill people without motivation, because he's a fucking psycho. That's all I need. He is an unstable psychopath that's killing people. To me, that is terrifying more than anything. Not that, oh, he's dad, or he's dad's uncle, or he's got dad's spirit in him. That just fucking kills it for me. It's just like, dude, that's stupid.
But even if what Blanco says, he was supposed to be a demon that works for Satan, creating chaos. That's more believable to me than what they were trying to explain in this fucking movie.
I'm fine with that. If you want to just tell me he's the devil, cool. He's a demon,
something like that. Like I
mean,
know.
clearly, I think he is a demon of some sorts because I was watching with subtitles on, and whenever the little girl talked, it said demon.
Yeah.
It didn't say a little girl; it said demon. So, like, clearly, he's a demon of some sort. Just leave it at that. Leave it at a demon.
Yeah.
That's all I need. But overall, he is Rufus. He is Rufus. Overall, though, fucking awesome series. Big fan of it. If you love gore and if you love practical effects like you and I do, we appreciate practical effects. Everything from 1982's The Thing and all the movies in between that have tried to use practical effects. This guy gets it right. The director, his name is something. No, Damien Leon. He appreciates practical effects.
Bad practical effects will trump most.
And
CGI,
honestly,
in my
man, I
opinion.
wouldn't even say they're bad here. I think they're actually pretty good.
They're actually really good.
I
I'm
mean, there are
surprised.
sometimes you're just like, okay, that's.
Well, I mean, if you take the first one on a $35,000 budget, what they had to work with,
dude, there is some sick ass shit.
there's some sick
one.
ass shit. So,
But
there
no,
it is.
overall, big fan. If you are a fan of the Terrifier series, let us know in the comments below what you think of the first two Terrifier movies and what you hope to see they do with Terrifier 3. Do you want them to go back to those, hey, look, he's just a fucking psychopath, or do you want them to explore more of what motivates art or why art exists? I mean, I would just prefer him just be a psychopath and kill more people, but we want to get your thoughts. Make sure you let us know in the comments below.
And if you eat dinner while watching them, also let us know.
What's your go-to meal?
Are you a psychopath like I am?
What's your go-to meal when you're watching fucking gore?
Raviolis, a lot of sauce.